Talking what's in the papers, and one of the stories in the newspapers today is now we've got to tell you, I've started, so
here we go.
I'm going to finish, right? So we had this story about Chris Packham, the environmentalist, and he talks about
there it is.
Where? So he's brought out a calendar, and it's to educate you about animals' poo. So what animals could be intruding on your gardens or whatever it happens to be. So Isabel then just says to me, "I've tasted poo, you know." I thought, what's
I've had a very strange upbringing.
But this is very interesting as to why she tasted poo.
Yes. Well, we were on safari, a walking safari, where you stop and you look at the flora and the fauna and an awful lot of the poo. And we examined elephant dung and rhino dung to see what they eat, and we were offered a sample to taste. It was very sweet.
Why would you do that, Isabel?
I think it was just part of the immersion into the experience, but also just, you know, my family are all into conservation and wildlife.
But
so
you haven't heard of E. coli?
we all live to tell the tale. But I also learned how you can spot predator poo.
Oh.
Because when you're on safari, if you see little white piles of dung,
yes,
that usually means it's a hyena or a lion or a leopard, because it's the calcium from the bones. It's in the feces. I didn't taste that one. Mostly Southern Africa, a little bit of East Africa,
right.
So Botswana.
But then, could I ask you, when I was a kid, on the pavement there was quite a lot of white dog poo, but they weren't eating bones, were they? I mean, they were eating bones.
Yeah, they were.
Do you remember white dog poo, which you rarely see now?
You never see it now, no.
I don't know why.
No.
It's a rarity.
I think
fascinating conversation.
I know. Sorry, poo done it was the headline. Poo done it. Okay.
So that was a good story.
Yes.
Now, they could always in politics be talking about a lot of poo, but the Labour Party conferences are all going on in Liverpool, and we've got a story from the Telegraph, Christopher, here, where Peter Mandelson, former guru of the Labour Party, says Britons now think it is safe to vote Labour.
Well, I think this is interesting. I like Peter Mandelson very much, and I think it's good, because I think he's what he's saying is in the article is they have to go now to the middle. You know, they can't go left or right. They have to go down that straight line in politics, and I think he's absolutely right. I mean, he's a very clever man. Interestingly enough, I didn't realise this, he also backed plans to bring back to replace the Royal Yacht Britannia. So it was something that, of course, the Queen was devastated by when she lost that wonderful ship. And I think it was a very bad thing to get rid of it. But anyway, he had plans in place to bring back.
Oh, I thought you were going to say that he wants to reinstate the top-rated tax and then bring back the ship and fund it with the
No, I don't think that'll be on the cards.
I don't think you'll ever see that again.
No, you won't. You won't, sadly. But what's it doing now? Just lying there.
Well, where is it?
Up in a museum
Scotland,
somewhere, maybe.
Edinburgh or somewhere.
Yeah, that's right.
Where is Britannia? Do you know?
You know, I don't know.
I think it's in Scotland somewhere.
It must be in Scotland.
You can have lunch on it, I think.
Yeah, right, okay.
Yeah, that sounds very nice.
Dawn, we go to the Sun, and you know, in line with the protests we're seeing in Iran and in London about the treatment of women. What have you got to report here?
Yeah, this is our. It's, as I said, the Iran story is just horrific. What happens to women in some countries? But this is obviously we've got the World Cup in Qatar coming up this winter, and this is a warning to female England fans travelling out there that if you are assaulted or raped, you are going to be the one that's responsible, because sex outside of marriage is punishable, sometimes, occasionally, I think, by death sentence in some of the countries, but you are the one responsible for it, even though you have been raped or sexually assaulted. And this is Qatar's strict Islamic code, outlaws all sexual contact between unmarried couples, and there are 100 prosecutions a year for it, and with sentences ranging from 7 years in jail to a public flogging. So if you are a female football fan and you're travelling to Qatar and you are sexually assaulted, and bear in mind there were 72 sexual assaults during the last the Euro 2020 in this country, there's a high chance it might happen to some women out there, but they're warning you, if you go to the police to report that, you are treated as the guilty party.
Right, you're a big football fan as well, you're also a woman. What's your view? What's your advice?
I wouldn't go. I honestly wouldn't go. I think we should not be holding the World Cup there. And David Beckham, even though he was a Q hero, Q for the Queen, I think his support of Qatar and his publicising the country makes him a zero again, because I just think it's horrific the way they treat women. It's horrific the way they treat gay people. I mean, there is no equality out there. I mean, Biggie, you probably know more than I have. I mean,
well, the gay situation is appalling.
Would you go? I mean,
No, I wouldn't. I mean, Tom Daly did a very interesting programme recently on the Commonwealth and, how should they be going to these games? And of course, the answer is no. I mean, it's the way they treat, and it's hypocrisy too. I mean, there was hotels, they own hotels in England run by gay people, and yet if you're out there, you could be stoned to death.
Yeah.
I mean, it is terrifying what can happen.
So, would you guys down tools then as regards to the World Cup? Do you think it's wrong David Beckham has been a poster boy for this World Cup?
Yeah, and I think it's all to do with money.
Yeah.
Well,
This is the virtue signalling of taking the knee and the rainbow laces, etc., etc. Fine, all for that. But then you go to Qatar and you pay, because of all the money you're earning out there. I'm sorry, it's the hypocrisy again involved in this. I just don't think it should be going on.
Yeah, I agree.
Shall we talk about Prince Harry, Christopher?
Yes.
He's trying to tone it down, finally.
Well, I think it's a very difficult situation. I mean, he's been paid a huge amount of money. He's been paid half his huge fee up front.
For his book.
Yeah, for his book. And I don't think the editors are going to be oh, yes, of course, we'll cut all those things, because those are the things they think will sell the book. And I think he's in a very strange position, because also, I think they were going to put it out for Thanksgiving in America, so it really must be printed already. So it means they'd have to actually get rid of pulp a lot of those books.
You see, this comes back to me being, liking a happy ending. I see this as a good sign. I see this as, I'm hopeful that, he's going to tone it down, the brothers will be reunited, maybe they've learnt their lesson.
Of course,
It's not going to destroy the monarchy.
Director, just cut back to me, please, here, please. Do you know what that is?
Yeah.
A rainbow.
What?
It's a pig flying.
Pig flying. That's what it is. Pigs
You're just
may
such
fly.
a cynic.
No, I'm not.
No, you
I'm
are.
absolutely not.
And you're
I'm
so
telling
stubborn. You just assume nobody could ever make up, But I like to think.
I have sources. I know there's going to be no making up. There's going to be no making up.
Ooh.
Well, the trouble is, they did affect him when he was over here, because he couldn't wear his ER on his uniform. He couldn't wear his uniform.
Yeah.
Only once that was given for permission for the lying in state.
It's not about how he feels. It's got about Kate and William, how they feel as well, and how they have been slighted, and how they have not been apologised to as well. So Miss Meghan can't fly in here on her broomstick and then fly out again and create all that hassle and whatever, because we're not finished with her yet. No matter what Harry does.
They were well behaved when they came over.
Isabel, she's writing it down now as we speak. There'll be a whole spate of with Queen.
I love the way you sit on the fence on this subject, Eamonn.
It's quite obvious to people.
I know.
And my experience of all of this is Netflix and people and minor stars in America and how they're treated. And Biggins, you'll have experienced it in your time. Prima donnas. And how they're enabled, how, certain people in the industry, how I want my dressing room painted white.
Well, there's this line, she wanted to be Beyonce in the UK, didn't she? Because it was a mixture of celebrity and royalty.
No, I think she thought everybody was going to bow down to her, and I think that she thought that she would become queen or something. I mean, I don't think she realised that they were very low down on the pecking order. Or Harry was. I mean, Harry is. I think. What is he now? Is he fifth in line?
He is fifth or sixth.
Yes. So if all the children died, he'd become king. But that's not going to happen.
Well, you never know, don't you?
You never know, I suppose.
Heaven forfend.
But I don't think he's going to cut the book anyway.
No, he's getting plenty of banknotes for the book. There is various banks in the post office now are saying to people, get them out from under the bed.
Did you know this? I mean, this is my public service broadcasting bit this morning. I didn't even know this. The Daily Telegraph today. Post office saying a brace for a last-minute rush. Just people deposit paper banknotes this week. Paper £20 and £50 notes will no longer be able to be used as payment from this Friday.
But you still can have the plastic ones.
You get the plasticky ones.
Right,
the
so
ones
it's not to say
with
20 quid notes are out.
No. It's the old.
Yeah, I didn't know that you could still use those.
But it was this Friday it finishes, and I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Not that I've got any, obviously, but I mean it's the plasticky ones. You know, the ones that really stick together, so you're never quite sure if you're handing one or two over. But the shocking part of the story: there are £6 billion worth in paper £20 notes and £8 billion worth in paper £50 notes still in circulation.
Okay.
It's a lot of money out there.
A
Yeah.
lot of money. Dawn, thank you very much indeed. Christopher, really appreciate it. Always nice hearing from you both. And that's it, done for today, because we're moving on to find out what it takes